Hey guys, Al here, Revitalized Seed. This is a video I've wanted to do for a while, and it's a tough one because it's difficult to articulate, but I of course relied on my friends at MSU Deer Lab to have some information out there, and as you can see from the chart behind me, we're talking about deer carrying capacity. So one of the things that I want to talk about is you're basically looking on your left side going upwards. It says deer abundance. Think of that as just population size. So zero would be down at the bottom and it would be increasing. Going across would just be time or duration, so as your deer population increases over time, certain things can happen if gone unchecked. The blue line is showing your carrying capacity. So what you notice here on a couple things I want to highlight, it's a little bit difficult if you just look at this chart, and that's why I wanted to do a video that would help to simplify some of these ideas is if we started at 0 deer and the time was 0, so we just started fresh, we took a piece of land, let's say a square mile, and you just had, let's say a square mile in central Ohio, and there was no hunting, there was no deer, and we put deer down there and we started a clock. That would basically be where this chart is starting. And over time, you would have a rapid increase relatively quickly, 2, 3, 4, 5 years probably. You would have a rapid increase in deer population. This occurs to the point where the deer population will then peak, which you see here at the top of the chart, where it's above carrying capacity. Even without hunting, the deer population size is going to start to decrease. Well, why is that? Well, it's because you start to have habitat degradation. Basically, what that means is that you are starting to reduce the efficiency of each deer in that population size getting max nutrition because you have such a large population that the available forage is getting decreased. So deer are starting to eat things that are not as valuable for them, which means they're spending more energy and getting less calories is essentially what they're doing. So think of if you're seeing greenbrier, real thick, browsed really, really heavily. There's no clear-cut or secondary successional habitat. There's no supplemental food feeding being done and or with being food plots and or actual supplemental feeding with like things like corn and protein feed, right? So this is just what happens in the natural environment is that once that reaches above carrying capacity of your land, which is kind of predetermined by what that habitat can hold without any human intervention, it's going to start to decrease. What I really like about this chart, though, is that it then shows the further implications, of what can happen thereafter. So now, as you see, as time has gone on, that carrying capacity has cut down, probably 25 to maybe more percent of what it previously was in that, which is represented in that blue dotted line. Well, why is that? Well, it's because you allowed the deer population to get so large without adequate harvest data that then caused the population to decrease because they didn't have good area to forage, right? Good high quality forage per each individual deer. So the overall population then decreased. Also going to be more susceptible to fawn mortality. You're not going to have high fawn recruitment. You're also going to have a higher susceptibility to predation just due to the health of the herd. So again, all of these are driving factors to the degradation of both the habitat and also your deer population. What then also happens is your actual carrying capacity was decreased because of the habitat degradation. So when that population was very high and they're eating everything at a deer's level, up, down, below, not only are you hurting long-term impacts of that deer herd and or forest health, but you're also hurting the health of the actual land, which is going to reduce the carrying capacity and actually have a negative impact on that deer herd. So just kind of a long video, and it's really in-depth topic, but this is why we talk a lot about managing for your doe population and doing exclusion fences and looking at your habitat and doing clear cuts and making sure you're managing your forest and supplementing with food plots like the Vitalized Seed System, but also making sure that you're understanding why it's so important to harvest those does in those areas where you're getting close to carrying capacity. A lot of good managers, they like to stay at like 50, maybe 60% of carrying capacity population. And they find that having the best results, not only for overall health of the does, the fawns, but also some of the rack size on some of those bucks. So hopefully this helped you guys understand some of the data that's out there. I'll probably do more videos on this, and get outside, enjoy the outdoors, and vitalizeseed.com.